picture a moment from your childhood, maybe a birthday, a scraped knee, getting lost somewhere crowded. You can probably see the faces, hear the voices, even feel the carpet under your hands. It feels as real as the chair you're sitting in right now. But here's an uncomfortable question. What if you could prove, in a laboratory, under controlled conditions, that a memory exactly like that one, vivid, detailed, emotional, never happened? Not a dream, not a lie. A perfectly ordinary memory, planted on purpose and believed completely. Because scientists can do this. They do it to ordinary people, and it works on most of us. So let's talk about false memories, where the idea came from, how your brain manufactures them without your permission, and why you almost certainly have a few sitting in your head right now, wearing the same costume as every other memory you trust. In 1995, a psychologist named Elizabeth Loftus wanted to answer a simple, disturbing question. Can you make a person remember something that never happened to them? So she ran an experiment that sounds almost too mild to matter. She collected small stories from each participant's family, true things their relatives confirmed had actually happened. Then she slipped in a fourth story, a fake one. A story about being lost in a shopping mall as a small child, crying, rescued by a kind stranger, reunited with mom and dad. And about 1 in 4 participants remembered it, not vaguely. They described the stranger. They described the mall. They added details nobody had given them. When told afterward that the story was fiction, some of them argued. They were sure. A recent pre-registered replication of the study pushed the number up to 35%. The original paper has been cited over 2,000 times. Scientists now call this the lost in the mall effect, and it's one of the most reliable results in the study of memory. Which is unsettling, because reliable is usually a word we reserve for memories, not for ways of breaking them. We like to imagine memory as a recording. Press play, watch it back. But that's not what your brain does at all. Every time you remember something, your brain reconstructs it from scattered fragments. A bit of sound here, a smell over there, an emotion filed somewhere else. It stitches the pieces into a story, then stores the story back down again. Neuroscientists call this reconsolidation. During that brief window, the memory is soft, malleable. You can add things, edit things, delete things. And the next time you play it back, you'll play back the edited version, convinced it's the original. This isn't a bug. It's what memory is for. A perfect recording would be useless. You'd drown in pixels. Memory is a model of the world, updated constantly to be useful, not accurate. Your brain would rather give you a clean story than a complete one. But here's the catch. Anyone who shows up during that soft window with a suggestion, a leading question, or a convincing relative can rewrite the tape, and you will never feel it happen. If implanting a childhood kidnapping seems exotic, here's a version you can't wriggle out of. Psychologists read people a list of words: bed, rest, tired, dream, snooze, blanket, doze, yawn, billow. Then they ask, was the word sleep on the list? Most people say yes, confidently. They can even remember hearing it. It was never there. This is called the DRM paradigm, and it demonstrates that your brain will fill in a thematically appropriate word just because it belongs. If a list about food doesn't contain the word bread, your brain hands you bread anyway. Gift wrapped as a memory. Now scale that up. Imagine someone tells you a story about yourself in which thematically appropriate details are missing. A stranger's face, the layout of a room, what your mother was wearing. Your brain will fill those in too, and it will hand you the finished product, indistinguishable from the real thing. In 2015, a psychologist named Julia Shaw took all this to its most alarming conclusion. She convinced college students over just 3 interviews that they had committed a crime as a teenager. Theft, assault, one with a weapon, a crime serious enough to have involved the police. 70% of them remembered it, in detail. They described the victim, they described how they felt afterward. In a follow-up study, outside observers could not reliably tell the fake memories from real ones. Same richness, same emotional weight, same certainty. And this wasn't hypnosis or torture. It was 3 friendly chats and a few well-placed suggestions, which stops being an academic curiosity the moment you think about the justice system. The Innocence Project has tracked hundreds of wrongful convictions overturned by DNA evidence. In roughly 69% of them, an eyewitness pointed to the wrong person, under oath, and meant it. The American Psychological Association estimates about 1 in 3 eyewitnesses gets it wrong. They're not lying. Their brains have handed them a clean, confident story, stitched together in the soft window, and played it back as truth. False memories don't just infect individuals, they can sweep through millions of people at once. This is the Mandela effect, collective memories of things that never happened. The Monopoly Man does not wear a monocle. He never has. The Fruit of the Loom logo does not contain a cornucopia. Darth Vader never says, "Luke, I am your father." The Evil Queen never says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." The children's books are called the Berenstain Bears, not Berenstein. Each of these is remembered vividly, confidently, and wrongly by huge numbers of people. And now, generative AI is quietly accelerating the problem, producing plausible, wrong images that fill the gap our memories were already reaching for. We are building machines that hallucinate the same way we do, at the same things we do, and feeding them back to ourselves. So, picture that moment from your childhood again, the one that felt as real as the chair beneath you. It probably is real. Most memories are, at least in outline. But some of the details, the stranger's face, the exact words, the thing you said next, were almost certainly stitched in later by a brain that preferred a clean story to a true one. You will never know which details those are. That's the whole point. A false memory, done well, feels exactly like a real one. This isn't a reason to distrust yourself. It's a reason to be gentler with your own past, with people whose memories don't quite line up with yours, with the eyewitness on the stand, with the friend who swears something happened that you don't remember at all. Your memory isn't a recording of your life. It's a story your brain tells you, rewritten a little every time you listen. And most of the time, that's a beautiful thing. Just don't mistake the story for the tape.